I love men. But you cannot ignore history. And history has shown that it has been the men who have done the raping and the robbing and the killing and the warmongering for the last 2,000 years. It has been the men who have done the pillaging and the beheading and the subjugating of whole races into slavery. It has been the men who have done the money-making and the law-making and most of the mischief-making. And yet, I love men. Do I contradict myself? Very well. I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. And I have every right to contradict myself. To be bigoted and fanatic one moment, moderate and considerate in the next. Because these are my views, and I enjoy speaking them into a microphone. Now, of course, the fact that I am speaking them into a microphone raises two questions. The first one is the classic, the lawyer's question, and that is how free should speech be? But I consider the second question equally important, and that is how should free speech be? Mahatma Gandhi said, we must speak in a way in which we will open our ears, not close them. I like the fact that gangster rappers used to have the phrase to come correct, because that's exactly what it meant. To come correct was to be mindful of who you're talking to be respectful, to be aware of who you're talking to. That was the initial thrust of political correctness. And women, I think, will often talk about men in very, very hateful ways that we consider as quite normal. But if men talk about women in these very, very hateful ways, we often get up in arms, right? I guess I would ask, why do we even expect that we can get together and we can talk about things like race and racism, sex and sexism, and not perhaps have some conflict? Have you ever been in a love relationship? You're going to have some conflict, right? So I think there is going to be some conflict, and part of the danger of free speech in our society today is actually this deep longing that people have to avoid conflict in our personal lives and in our public lives, to avoid hurting someone's feelings, to not be polite. And I think today the left is actually creating its own decline. I think the left doesn't know how to be a tribe in the way that the right does. The left is cannibalistic. It eats its own. Now, I know this isn't going to sound very nice, but I think there is oftentimes a kind of arrogance and self-righteousness there, that if you follow the rules, you must follow the rules, and if you don't, you'll cut down very, very, very fast. And I've actually had this happen to me. I mean, my comments on transgender women, I said in an interview that I think transgender women are transgender women. And there's a bit of a difference between transgender women and women who are born female. Well, apparently in liberal orthodoxy, you're not supposed to say that. Because in the quest for inclusiveness, the left is actually willing to discard a certain kind of complex truth. I mean, I received tons of emails from friends saying, woo, I hope you're all right. And, you know, don't worry, we have your back. And why don't you take some time off, you know, get a massage? It was literally as though someone had died. And there was, I think, generally, I like to think of my place in this world as someone who's, of course, for inclusiveness, so I didn't really take it seriously. But I think it was simply that I wasn't using the language that I was supposed to use. There was this woman who was lecturing me on how I was killing trans women, you know, how I needed to shut up because I had no compassion. So I think the response is not to have a debate, the response is to silence. And I find that very, very troubling. Maybe that's just because I'm a person who generally thinks that the response to bad speech should be more speech in general. But there was this young woman who obviously didn't agree with me, because she said to me, and she was white, but she said to me, we have friends in our college and they're black and we want to protect them. And I said to her, well, that's strange, because we live in a world that is steeped in racism. I mean, how are you protecting your young friends? Because when they step out into this world, they're stepping out into a world full of racism.
You go into my country, you fucking take about welfare! I am freaking they giving you!
What is the point? I mean, what is the point when we talk about the words that we're talking about? What is the point of using a word that means something to me and means something entirely different to you? What is the point of using words to explain what I mean when every word that I use is being received in a meaning which might be the exact opposite of what I intend? I think the argument that I've brought forward with a lot of clarity in these last two sentences is, of course, one for shutting up and being silent. But what is the point of being silent as a means of communication when even the silence itself is misconstrued? To speak, even look in the face of this interminable misunderstanding is impossible. I cannot explain what I mean when every word or look that I use is being received in a meaning which might be the exact opposite of what I intend. And that is why I have enough! The right apologizes for everything. The right apologizes for everything. And the left apologizes for nothing. I mean, can't we find a balance here? The right have just gone, I'm having that. Free speech, I'm having that. And the left is running scared. They're scared to say that they're pro-free speech because they're afraid that they're going to be branded right-wing. That's bizarre! It's bizarre! It's bizarre to say that free speech is a controversial topic. That's bizarre to me. We can't just let them have it. Look, when I say that men are rapists and warmongers and money makers, one of three things is happening, okay? Either I'm making a joke. Yeah, it's a sexist joke, okay, but it's a joke, okay? Or I'm using these words to prove a point. Or I actually really do mean these things because I'm a sexist twat, but I'm a sexist twat. And I would strongly defend my right to say these words. And in defending that right, I'm not defending the statement. Okay? I'm not defending the person, I'm not defending the statement, I'm not defending the person who said it, I'm simply defending the right to say it. Because if you make it illegal to say it, you make it illegal to think it. And that's thought crime, that's 1984. Unsavory, disgusting people, I'm having a feedback here, should be allowed to say unsavory, disgusting things, right? Because if you make it illegal to say racist things, you're not going to stop racism. You're simply hiding it. And I don't want my racists hidden. I want them out in the open, where I can see them, where I can hear them. I recently read an article about a murderer. His thoughts and fantasies about murder had started somewhere between the ages of 9 and 12. In his early 20s, he was walking around the neighborhood, wearing a leather jacket, with a knife. He was walking around the neighborhood with a knife in his pocket. And he saw a woman standing in a kitchen window, and he rang the doorbell. And when she opened, he knocked her down and stabbed her 74 times. Now, 25 years later, he was still asking himself why he had never gone to see a psychotherapist. He had known about his thoughts and his fantasies. His answer was that he had been trying to hide, to bury his thoughts somewhere deep down inside of him. Okay. So, some people like to believe that if bad ideas are allowed, flourish out into the open, then rational debate will come along and they will wither and they will die. Well, the argument that I have against that is all of recorded history. I mean, it simply never happens that way. If you allow Holocaust denial to flourish, the result is not going to be that people are going to see the absurdity and the evil in that idea. The result is going to be that people who never even thought about it are going to go, alternative facts, alternative facts. And then that's repeated over and over and over again and never being challenged in your own echo chamber. And we know since Goebbels that the key to making a lie deadly and effective is constant repetition. The truth? I mean, truth needs to be said, right? Come on. And yes, you're right. Nowadays, that's a conservative position. Look, all I want is for people to be, do, and say anything. I hurt people for a reason. I like to think of myself as a virtuous troll, I mean, requiring this absolute consistency. And forgetting that people are messy. People are complicated. That's a characteristic of the modern left. And also forgetting some other obvious human psychological truths, like, for example, the fact that they want to police humor. I mean, what's my text? They want to police humor. That's right. Oh, you can't, yeah, all right, yeah. The fact that they want to police humor, it's because they cannot control it. Because you cannot control what people find funny, right? And also, I mean, nothing amuses people like the truth, right? You laugh because you know it's true. So, policing humor for sexism and racism is utterly wrong-headed. Because that's the way we build bridges, not how we break them. You make jokes at a bar, you connect people. You make a joke, you connect to someone. And some of these obvious human psychological truths, the progressive left has just simply forgotten. So, okay, I think we can disagree on a lot of things here, but I think we can agree on one thing, and that is if you don't show up to debate, you lose. It's not about fighting. It's not about winning or losing, attacking or defending, gaining or losing ground. But instead, arguing is viewed as dancing. The idea is to perform your argument, okay? In an aesthetically and rhythmically pleasing way. That is structured in terms of battle and war, right? Imagine a discourse that is structured in terms of dance. Yes, yes. There are agreements made in back rooms that the public very rarely hears about. Governments contact companies, media companies, pushing them to promote or inhibit certain ideas, opinions on their platforms. Now, to get out, these companies might decide in the future to make these decisions on their own. And in the end, we have privately owned companies deciding where is the red line, what is allowed to be said, what is allowed to be shown, what is allowed to be discussed in public, what to ignore, what to delete. Some social media companies call this content moderation. But I think to outsource such decisions to privately owned, profit-oriented companies is something that should deeply, deeply worry people living in a democratic society today. So how free should our speech be? Well, in Iran, the importance of free speech is like the importance of oxygen for staying alive. Without free speech, even though you may not be in prison, it feels as though you are in prison. Just as oxygen is important for staying alive, free speech is important for human dignity. And that is why free speech should never be restricted under any circumstances. Well, unless of course it's used to ignite war, or violence, or hatred against any kind of religion, or language, or faith, or tribe, or vegans, or smokers, or car drivers, or overweight people, or underweight people, or people who want to fly with the aeroplane, or the elderly. And so, let me end this speech with a question to you. What do you call a black man driving a plane?
Pilot.
A pilot. Racist, right? Thank you.
Okay, so I'll try to talk and look at my paper and see where we go with that. So lately, we seem to have a return to people who try to tell other people what to do with their bodies. Yeah? We come back to this idea that we can tell the other what to do with their bodies. So I have I have a freedom. What can I do with my body? But I can dance, for example. Yeah, if I want to dance, I can dance. I can just dance. Or I can, I can dress up in animal pyjama and go out to the street for no reason and shop something. Yeah, I can just do that. But there's a lot of people that cannot do. So what I propose to you, I propose to you to tell me what to do with my body. Yeah, because I'm sick of tired of making all the decision for myself. I cannot decide anymore what to do with my body. And I want you to tell me what to do. So does anybody have a suggestion? Yeah? I do everything you tell me. There's no restriction. Yeah? Nobody wants to tell me what to do with my... Because we seem to kind of be very very good at telling other people what to do with their bodies. So please tell me, because I'm really tired. I have too much freedom, and I really want to start to get instruction. Somebody has an idea?
Jump up and down.
Huh?
Jump up and down.
Just jump up and down.
Yeah.
Tell me when to stop. Anything else? Huh? Okay. You see, I'm jealous of these people that I meet and they tell other people what to do with their bodies. I'm really jealous of them because I'm also confused about my body. Yeah? I'm very confused. And nobody, I never got into this point when people told me what to do. For example, people never told me lose weight. Yeah? They never told me to lose weight because either they're embarrassed to say it or because they think it's sexy. I'm sexy. Yeah? So, does anybody want me to lose weight? No, why not? Cute. I look cute. Okay, but let me show you something. What do you think now? Yeah, what do you think? Should I lose weight? Yeah? Guys, I'm looking for an answer. What to do with my body?
Yes, I think you should train your body.
I should what?
Train it a little
Shrink
bit.
my body, yeah.
Yes.
I should not look like a pregnant person.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what do I do if abortion is illegal?
You have to fight against it.
And you tell me what to do with my body? Hi. No?
I actually think that men should take care of their bodies as much as women do.
I don't think anybody should take care of their bodies. I think they should have somebody who tell them what to do with their bodies. Yeah? That will be really nice if you can kind of here. What should I do with my body? Does anybody have an idea? Do you have an idea? What should I do with my body?
Enjoy.
Huh?
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Like, what does it like? Huh? That works for you? One more second.
No, I don't want. You should.
No, I want you to enjoy my body.
No. I have my own.
Huh?
I have my own.
Can you come and enjoy it with me?
No,
Why not?
I don't want to.
You don't want to.
It's
Okay.
a simple thing.
But you are very unfair for you to tell me what to do with my body.
You were asking.
Yeah, and you have to answer?
I thought so.
You thought so.
Was polite.
Huh?
Was meant to be polite.
It's meant to be okay. Now, let me read this. Life. I have the feeling that life will be so much less stressful for me if I had some sort of objective. If it's a third party, tell me what to do with my body. Yeah, I think it will be much easier for me, because then, if any current government could tell me what to do with my body most of the time, I don't have to think. I just do whatever I'm being told to do with my body. Yeah, and that means that I just have to follow orders. So if the government tell me to get skinny, I have to get skinny. Yeah. Otherwise, they cut my salary or subsidy, whatever. Yeah? So that's what will happen. What should I do with my body? Why are you laughing? Now, if no, I have an idea. Yeah.
My condolences to anyone who has ever lost me, and to anyone who got lost in me, or to anyone who ever felt they took a loss with me. My apologies for the misunderstanding, or the lack thereof. You know, I'm sorry you missed the God in me, and I'm sorry you missed the light. I'm sorry you forgot the way I arose, like the moon, night after night, eager to feed you everything, with the burden to forgive. You see, I'm a holy woman. I know what it's like to give life to a being without ever needing to press skin against one another. I've practiced how to hold my tongue long enough. I'm afraid I forgot how to say goodbye. But I am afraid that you were under the impression that I was made to please you. Because I was under the impression that you understood me better. And the truth is, I'm a superwoman. And some days I'm a crazy woman. And some days I'm an angry woman. For still waiting. For still loving harder even if I'm aching. For still trusting that I'm still worth the most. For still searching for someone to understand me better.
So, what I propose now, because I think that that a lot of you here are kind of, you're afraid of angry women. You're afraid of like real feminist women who stand. So what I'm forming, because some feminist women asked me, and we decided to form a new movement. We call it passivism. Yeah, it's basically passive feminism. Yeah, so it's passivism, and. Let me read you something. So, if you believe in complete social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, but the whole feminist movement scared the shit out of you, yeah, that's why we've come to the right place. Yeah, we're introducing passivism. Passivism is the latest movement that it's pretty much like feminism, only it's geared toward liberalish women who find meaty, substantive dialogue too scary. So if you want to be feminist but passive feminist, you can join us, yeah? Here in passivism, we know how hard it is to be a woman in today's... No, please, don't go. If you really want to talk about a serious issue, I totally agree with you, but you will have to go somewhere else. Here, it's light. Everything is light. It's light feminism, light discussion, yeah? Because we're afraid to be too radical. So passivism is founded to answer the simple question: who says you can't make a difference and look comfortable and pretty in the same time? Yeah? Who said you cannot do this? Yeah? We in passivism says you can. We're not here to mince word. Yeah, we're here to say that you can be against global warming, but if somebody come and tell you that global warming does not exist, don't tell them I disagree with you. Say, I get your point. So you win both part of the argument. You still believe in global warming, but you don't attack the people who don't. That's kind of the rule of passivism. Yeah, we agree with everybody, despite the fact that we disagree with everybody. So that's what keeps us loved by everybody. Hi, you all look at me. So I will continue with passivism. For example, let me just find. I got lost. Charlie, come and do something, and then I will find my place in the universe. Yeah, sure. This is Charlie.
Hello. It's me. You don't know me, but yeah, it's me. I didn't know what to prepare for today because I'm not really that smart and not really that funny, and also most of the time I kind of feel like a channelless child trapped inside of a woman's body. So it was really hard for me, and then Then I watched some of the vagina monologues on YouTube. I don't know if you heard of them. And I found it quite interesting that we always have to sound so aggressive. No, don't go, please stay. I'm not that aggressive. Like that we always have to sound so aggressive and angry when talking about our lady bits. We sound like politicians or lawyers or something. So I wrote a really, really bad, gentle poem about my vagina. Because I know my vagina a little bit. So it goes like this, hope you enjoy. It's called the Vagina Poem, which is really clever. Hello, it's me, the vagina. You see, it's not that easy to be a vagina. I don't want to sound whiny because I'm not a whiny vagina. I'm also not a shiny vagina, and I'm totally not a Hermione vagina. Although, to be Hermione's vagina would be pretty cool, because then I would be magical and very smart too. But I'm just an ordinary vagina with some minor exceptions, but my captions on Instagram would never say, "She's bomb." But I'm the caretaker of the worm, and someday, they say, a baby could crawl out of me, you see. But this scares me. I don't want to become flappy. I'm happy about my life right now. I mean, it's not like, wow, she's so out there, but I don't care. Let's face it. I'm not an Audi character-wise. I'm more an introvert, and I'm okay about my size. I'm not really big and not really small. I'm somewhere in the middle, but if I wiggle just a little bit, I can make some room for it. Or her. I'm a political correct vagina, and I never neglect my duties, even though it makes no sense to me that men's or women's dinglings feel crazy about she. I try to stay healthy and clean, and if there is yeast, I'm keen to kill it all. The same with diseases. I would build a wall, but I don't like to be grabbed by anyone. Not you, or maybe you, but not really you, and also not you, and not, yeah, maybe you, but you get my point. But I will stick around for some time, bleed every now and then just fine, deal with cramps and blood flood. Although I've had enough of those silly cotton sticks stuck inside, especially at night. Just use a cup or maybe a pad, even though it feels like a diaper. It just makes me sad how menstruating is seen. I mean, let's face it, it's just a little blood. It's not like I'm cut open. I'm just letting you know what your body is doing and can do. Woohoo! Sometimes I'm hairy, sometimes I'm not. It's not like very hairy, it's pubic hair that I sometimes like to wear. It feels like a beard down there, really nice. Sometimes I'm such a pussy that I just want to crawl inside and hide from the world. You see, the world is a shitty place, and even though I see mostly cotton and lace, I know what's out there. And I'm not the type to share my feelings. I'm not gonna open my lips and hold a speech like Nietzsche would. Here inside it's cozy and warm. There is no fear. And as Shakespeare said, to be or not to be, that is the question. After my teenage misery, I chose to be. Thank you.
So, yeah. You wanna, yeah. To sum it up shortly. If you wanna join a passivism, yeah, just come to me. We're signing now, and you're gonna get a pin, a flower, and a membership that means nothing. And believe me, it's much nicer to have fun, an easy day, than to look at yourself at the mirror at night. Thank you.